I'm State Representative Mark Gillen, and welcome to Legislative Report. Today we've got a special treat for you. We're at the Barn at Flying Hills in Cumru Township in our legislative district, and we have our Veterans Expo. And today I am honored to be with Dr. Cedric Jimerson, a very special friend and a special guest. Dr. Cedric Jimerson is soon going to be 100 years old. That birthday's coming up, isn't it, Dr. Jimerson?
August 7th.
August 7th. Dr. Jimerson served in World War II in the European theater. Could you tell us a little bit about that service, Dr. Jimerson?
Yes. I served with the Medical Corps in the 663rd Medical Clearing Company. And we were located just behind the collecting companies. Took care of the injured. I was in combat zone in Germany for 6 months, and I was in Europe in an ET, European Theater of Operation, for 1.5 years. It was a great experience. Had a chance to do a lot of surgery. I had been trained for surgery before I was inducted into the Army. It was scary. Just this morning I was reading about the concentration camps and the death camps. All this was kept secret to us while we were in service. After I finished my career, I went back into the training in medicine and became a surgeon here in Berks County, where I headed the surgical department for 35 years as chief of surgery and chairman of the Department of Surgery. Thank you.
We're neighbors. Our office is right here in Flying Hills, and you're almost directly across the street. We've had numbers of occasions to get together and visit, and we've talked a little bit about your experience in the European theater, but let's rewind a little bit. When did you begin your medical training, and when were you actually inducted into the Army?
I began my medical training in 1940. I went to Cornell University Medical College. I took the advanced ROTC there, thinking I wanted to become an officer, but later I found out that all doctors were second and first lieutenants when they went in. I trained at Bellevue Hospital in New York, at the Cancer Memorial Hospital in New York, and at the New York Hospital. I also had a residency in thoracic surgery at the Bronx VA Hospital. So I was well prepared for what I had encountered here in practice. Actually, at that time that I came here in 1950, there were no surgical specialists at all here. And there were many people in need of surgery and no one to take care of them. So that was a great experience. Many of these people were poor. For the first 2 years, I took no vacation at all. Many of the people I operated on for free as charity. Thank you.
You arrive in the European theater. Did your training fully prepare you for the emotion, the trauma, all the dynamic of wartime that was going on and meeting needs out in the field?
I'm not sure that it did, but I had a straight surgical internship before I went overseas. It was at the New York Hospital, and then I was drafted and went to Carlisle Barracks Officers Training School, medical officers training. From there, I was battalion surgeon at several places. First in the infantry, and then in the cavalry, and then in the anti-aircraft. It's interesting. I was sent to Stark General Hospital. It's a beautiful hospital in South Carolina. And they asked us in a short time, where would you like to be in the Army and what would you like to do? I said, I'd like to do surgery and I'd like to do it right here. They turned around and in 2 weeks I got notice to go into the infantry. That was at Camp Blanding in Florida. So I was in the artillery, the infantry, and then the medical clearing company.
You mentioned concentration camps. You're in the European theater. How close did you get to the entire trauma of a concentration camp?
Actually, that was a terrific secret that they kept. We had no idea of the concentration camps. Didn't see them. And I just was reading this morning that there were something like 2,200 concentration camps. And they made a differentiation between the training of the concentration camp and the death camps. Later, after the war was over, I went back to Auschwitz. And there I had the chance to see the ovens where the poor Jews were burned to death. Others were starved. Others were worked to death. And it's a terrible story. Thank you.
Years later, here we're looking back more than 70 years. How often do you think about your service and what went on and that wartime experience? Is it ever present with you? I know you've also written, and maybe a word or two about what you've written and what's the focus looking forward. You've got another 100 years ahead of you. You're going to be 100 in August, okay? And you're the picture of health, so you've got a lot of time ahead of you, right? A word or two about your writings and those memories. Do they linger, and is there any memory that is particularly poignant in your mind?
Well, yes, of course, the war memories are important. As a matter of fact, I'm making a booklet now that I hope to bring here today, but it's not quite finished, so I'll get it to you later, about my experiences in the war. But I had many moments that I've recovered and thought of the war, and my experiences there. There were good parts and bad parts. But after I came back, I had a chance then to go to Camp Swift Regional Hospital, where I did quite a bit of surgery before I was discharged.
Well, we can't leave this conversation without asking, what's the key to health? You're 99 years old. You seem like you're in great physical health. Leave us with something. What are you eating, doing? How are you exercising?
I think genes are important. Genes and exercise and good living. I work in the gym regularly. I walk regularly. I take PT, work out in the gym, and it's around whole thing.
I was afraid you were going to say something about the genes part. We don't have very good genes in our family. But Dr. Jimerson, thank you for your historical service, your current service. And I'm going to swing to my left in this direction, and we're going to talk to some of our friends with Veterans Making a Difference. Thanks so much, my friend.
Thank you very much, Mark.
For being here.
Appreciate it.
Liz Graybill, how are you doing?
Good morning.
Where's Doug? He probably saw the camera and excuse me, he went into hiding somewhere, didn't he? Your counterpart. Well, you're part of our Veterans Expo today, and I know you've got your van set up, and you've also got an area where people can make donations. Tell us a little bit about the donations and where they're going and what you're doing.
Okay, Liz and Doug Graybill, Veterans Making a Difference. We have a nonprofit, and we run the Veterans Social Center in Reading. And today we're collecting non-perishable food items. We're always handing out food to veterans in need, and the last Saturday of every month is our Veteran Food Pantry.
All right, so somebody who wants to donate today, obviously they're going to drop it off, but moving forward, is there address, contact information, phone number they can reach out to you?
Yes, they can follow us on Veterans Making a Difference Facebook page, and also my cell phone, Liz Graybill, is 484-577-6898, or they can email lizgraybill@yahoo.com, and we always are in need of non-perishable food items.
Liz, you're very humble. Doug, equally so. What's your background? Doug's background militarily? I think people would be kind of curious about that.
Okay, Doug is a Vietnam veteran, U.S. Marine Corps. He was a tunnel rat, and then he got out, and 10 years later went back in Beirut, Grenada, helped with a sniper platoon. And then he got out, and I was in the Army 23 years and retired. I served 6 months in Desert Storm, Gulf War, and then I served twice in Iraq for a year each, and Bosnia twice for a year each. So between Doug and I, we have about 35 years military experience and 6 deployments, so we know a lot about veterans. I'm also a veteran service officer. I can help them with their VA benefits, so we help the whole veteran however we can.
All right, you've served, and for many people, they would say, I've historically spent time in the service, I'm going to move on with a civilian career. For you, it's been enduring service. What drives that passion? Many people could share, I was in the service, I was a careerist, but their trail didn't lead them to where you're at today. Why is it that you're continually reaching out, saying thank you, and meeting needs?
In the military, we serve, and when we got out, we're both veterans. We understand veterans. We just have that heart to serve. We truly believe we're called from God to continue to help veterans because we understand them. So we're just answering the call.
All right, so it's a divine call in your life.
It's a divine call to continue to serve and give back to veterans, yes.
You mentioned a phrase, and that phrase was tunnel rat. What's a tunnel rat?
Okay, a tunnel rat, Doug would go into the Vietnamese tunnels and try to capture the enemy or chase him out. They did not take prisoners back then. So Doug would go into tunnels on his hands or his knees, crawling really, really slow in the dark, trying to get the enemy.
All right. Now, there are a variety of areas to serve. Dr. Jimerson served medically. A tunnel rat seems to me is unique in its own respect as a medical doctor would have been on the field in wartime. I've got to believe that somebody who was crawling in and out of tunnels came out of that war experience with some very difficult memories. What say ye on that?
Yes, Doug has his issues from the military. He has post-traumatic stress really bad. He lives the war every day in his head. He never forgets. He has flashbacks, night sweats. He lives with the war every day. It's never left him. He left Vietnam, but Vietnam didn't leave him.
He's got an ideal partner. You understand him. You're working with him. But I think part of the healing process, perhaps, is in going out and serving and meeting the needs of others with PTSD, addressing homelessness. So is it correct to say some of the passion that you folks have drives out of Doug's experience in your own military service?
Yes. When we first started, we started helping homeless on the streets in Berks County. And then after about 5 years of doing that, we started just focusing on helping veterans solely. However we can, we've done everything to help veterans. Doug's been homeless. He's eaten out of soup kitchens. He understands whatever, divorce, financial issues. He's had a few little stays in jail overnight. Doug understands, so yes, that drives our force. We've been there, we understand, we can relate, we talk the same language, yes.
You step to my right just for a second, because I'm going to ask Dr. Jimerson a question here. We just heard about Vietnam-era veterans. The reception that the Vietnam-era veteran got when they came back home was quite a bit different than your own. Could you give us a little reflection? You come back versus how the Vietnam veteran came back. Contrast?
Yes, indeed. We were honored when we got back. It got a lot of attention. And in contrast from Vietnam, there was a lot of confusion and a lot of thought about the need for the war, what it accomplished, why we even went to war. And in Europe, we had a big reason for it going, to try to save Europe and save England, save America.
Does a little bit of the scarring, Liz, come from the fact that the war was inconclusive in Vietnam in 1975? Saigon eventually fell. Does that add to the scarring and the trauma?
That I don't know, but I'm just sorry for how the Vietnam veterans were treated when they returned. Like I said, I was a Gulf War veteran, Bosnia, Desert Storm. Every time I came home, we had welcome home parties, ceremonies, everything. And I feel sorry that the Vietnam vets was excluded from all that.
Well, we are here to honor veterans of all eras and provide a service for them. So thank you for your distinguished work that's ongoing with Veterans Making Difference. Now, you are going to get me one of those shirts, right?
Yes, sir. I have one right now for you.
Thank you for your historical and ongoing service and writing, Dr. Jimerson.
Thank you very much, Mark. It's a pleasure.
I don't know about you folks, but I heard there's donuts, there's coffee, and there's snacks inside. So let's head in this direction.
We'll head in.
All righty.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Judy Hofmeister. I'm the commander of the Women Veterans of Berks County, and I'm with my Sisters in Arms, and we would like to invite any woman veteran who is interested in joining our organization to contact us at womenvetsofberks@yahoo.com or 484-529-0766. We support women veterans within Berks County. We concentrate on some of our World War II and Korean veterans that are in nursing homes and bring them visits and items of comfort to them. We also support the junior ROTC programs and support the female cadets with sponsorship checks. And we also get together on a monthly meeting so that we can all be together and share our stories and be friends and know that we are not alone, because the women are the forgotten veteran, and we will not let any of our women be forgotten.
It's my privilege to be with the director of the Berks County Office of Veterans Affairs, Dale Durr. Dale, we've known one another for a long time. You're coming to the end of the highway in terms of your service with the county. How long have you served in various capacities with the County of Berks?
With the County of Berks, it'll, when I finally call it a day, be close to 20 years.
All right. I know you were court administrator at one point, and now you're director of the Office of Veterans Affairs. I know this is your passion. I know this is your heart. You have a background in the Air Force. When were you there?
Actually, I started off as an enlisted Marine, and at the point where I wanted to earn a commission, I was given the opportunity to commission with the U.S. Air Force, and I spent the rest of my time there. Retired from the military with about almost 24 years of service.
You have an office that spends a lot of time servicing the needs of veterans. I think it's a model office in terms of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but there are a lot of personal demands. There's a lot of time. There's a lot of heart that goes into this. Here in the next couple months, you're going to be turning the reins over to somebody else. I know you have a lot of confidence moving forward because of the foundation that you've built.
I feel we have a really solid team here in Berks County, trying to live by the golden rule. Neighbor taking care of neighbor, making sure that people feel that county government, through all the levels of government services and benefits that are available, are understood, accessed, and the advocacy work that we do is all provided in a very personal way for the 23,000 veterans that live here in Berks County. And it seems like everybody's here today at the Expo.
A thumbnail sketch of the average day. I know there's no such thing. What are you dealing with? Who's calling? Who's coming in? A little profile of the veteran.
It can be a wide array of different circumstances that people present themselves, but it's usually a distress call. Somebody is really anguishing from emotional stress. It could be physical health. It could be financial situations, evictions from their homes. It can be incarcerated veterans who are either looking at going into jail and what should I do, or those who are trying to go through community reentry out into Berks County. How do we deal with all of that? It could be something as straightforward as education benefits. A couple wants to get into a VA home loan guarantee program. Those are fairly sane, stable types of requests that we can get into. But really, most of the day, we're spending dealing with the distress of the person here in Pennsylvania.
Let me close with this question. It's something I don't often ask. Just a window to your heart and the heart of those that are in your office. You're dealing with many people who are troubled, or having difficulty, are looking for relief. How does that affect your team at a personal level?
I'll tell you, it does put stress on all of us. And we are 5.5 employees for 23,000 veterans and all the family members of those veterans. And then you have to consider that there are a lot of widows and widowers of deceased veterans out there in Berks County as well. And we just make it our we use our personal commitment to try and make their lives better by virtue of the services we can provide.
Godspeed, my friend. I've enjoyed working with you.
My name is Bob Simpson. I'm a member of Chapter 131 Vietnam Veterans of America. We are about 200 members strong. We meet in the Reading Airport on the second Thursday of every month. We do a lot work with the veterans. We do bingo in Lebanon VA Hospital. We help raise money and help the veterans with the food pantries locally. We do a lot of parades. We also go into the high schools and talk to the kids about what our experiences were when we were in country. Our contact information, it's www.vietnamveterans131.com.
Hi, my name is Doug Etter, and I represent the Lebanon VA Medical Center, which is in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, and includes 6 satellite community clinics and a 9-county catchment area. We offer 45,000 veterans primary care, specialty care, and acute care. Our physicians are prepared at all times to take care of America's veterans. Veterans who are interested in learning more about VA healthcare should call 717-272-6621. Again, veterans interested in learning more about VA healthcare should call 717-272-6621. If you're not currently enrolled in VA healthcare, you can call our enrollment number at 717-228-6000. Again, 717-228-6000. Thank you for your service. Let us now serve you.
We're picking up again outside at our Veterans Expo with Janice, who's a Veteran Service Officer for the Pennsylvania Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. Thanks for coming out today.
You're welcome.
Tell us the services you're offering here.
Information and resources for veterans and their families.
So somebody comes up here and they look at the plethora of information. Do they usually walk to the table and pull something off, or might they come over and ask you a question first?
It depends on what they're looking for. It varies. But we're also trying to get people registered on the DMVA registry so we get a more accurate count of how many veterans are in the state. And if you register, you'll get a newsletter from us every week.
All right, you're on the road constantly.
Yes.
How often do you
About
go
three-
to these events?
About 3 times a week, all over the state.
All right, and it's just you?
No, we have a team of 2.
All right, and you're driving today?
No.
You're not the driver?
No,
Okay.
I live in Berks County, so
All
I
right.
live close by.
So this is your territory right
yes,
here?
yes.
All right, how long have you been doing this, Janice?
5.5 years.
All right, and what inspired you to do it? Do you have a background that led you in this direction?
I used to work for the Veterans Affairs Office in Berks County, so I do claims, and I went to the state because I thought traveling to help veterans would be something interesting, and I would get to see the state, our wonderful state.
Now, we want you to brag on our area just a little bit. I represent Berks and Lancaster County, but you worked in the Berks office.
Correct.
Dale Durr has been there for a number of years. Berks County has a first-rate reputation for working with veterans. What say ye to that?
I would agree with that.
All right.
Yes.
So you put us number 1 in the state?
Yeah.
in the top tier, clearly.
Right.
All right. Now, you have a background, you said, working with veterans through the Berks Office of
Right.
Veterans Affairs.
Right.
Do you have military family?
Yes,
military?
I'm a veteran,
Okay. And
Army veteran.
All right. What period did you serve?
81 to 2005.
All right. Is there anything that you can distill from that period of service that was meaningful for you or helps you to better understand the veterans who come walking up to this table?
Well, I was in public affairs, so part of my time, and we learned how to speak to veterans or actually active duty service people. And you build a camaraderie with people in the service, so that kind of transferred itself into doing this job. We know the lingo, we know the acronyms, and that helps us speak with each other.
I'm sure that there's not going to be a single answer to this question, but I look here and I see PTSD, women's, veterans, healthcare. So there's a
Right.
variety of pieces of information
Yes.
here. Is there something that people commonly ask about? Or
Health benefits.
Health benefits, okay.
Health benefits and actually just benefits in general,
Okay.
what they're eligible for.
All right. And so if I came up here and I said I have PTSD, I don't know where to go with this, what am I eligible for? Do I need a medical diagnosis? Do you walk them through all of those steps?
Yes, yes.
All right. So is it conceivable that somebody could come over here? Would they have a phone number, contact information, application form? What are they likely to come out of this experience with?
A booklet on health care benefits, on state benefits, and any other actual information that pertains to what they're interested in.
Janice, as we wrap up, I'm gathering that there would be lots of follow-up questions. You provide contact information. How often do you hear from folks after they take the pamphlet booklet with additional questions?
Well, since we're dealing with health benefits, that's the federal side of the VA. We're the state. So we don't usually hear from them if they're interested in health benefits.
I'm on the Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness Committee in the State House of Representatives. We're going out to Fort Indiantown Gap in a couple weeks. You've been out to that complex there.
That's where we're out of.
You're out of there. You've been to the VA hospital in Lebanon. We
Yep.
have a satellite campus here. I get the impression that there's a plethora of opportunities and resources for
Yes.
veterans in the Commonwealth, and certainly where we're at.
Correct.
Would you verify
Oh,
that?
yes, definitely. And there's veterans who just don't know about it. Or the wives come to the events and they take the information home to their husbands who don't want to go to the events, and it's up to the actual veteran to go through everything.
Well, Janice, we're delighted for the service you're rendering the
Oh, you're
community
welcome.
here. Mobile Veterans Outreach, thanks for your historical service to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the citizens
Oh, you're
of
welcome.
the United States. I'm State Representative Mark Gillen, and thank you for joining me with Legislative Report. If we could help you with any state-related matter, our contact information will appear on the screen at the conclusion of the program.